my personal background, I actually first started playing polo because of my brother and sister. Growing up, they played, so it was one of those things. Youngest child following the lead of their older siblings, and pretty much the same way with swimming that got started. So that's kind of how I got started. Played through high school. Went and started coaching when I was in college. Actually was an assistant coach at Okemos. I've actually been at Okemos now for 10 years, mostly as an assistant coach. 3 years ago, I was hired as the head coach of the boys program, and that following season, I was actually hired as the girls head coach as well. So since 2012 with the girls and 2011 with the boys as the head coach. Our new assistant coach is Lucas Wilson, and he comes from Michigan State. He's currently a sophomore at MSU. He's originally from Walled Lake, and I think the number one thing that made me realize this was going to be a good fit was the fact that when we started talking about how good the team could be this year, he just immediately kind of cut me off and said, "I know how good the team's going to be this year." So, normal practice, but we actually have morning practices 3 days a week, and that is usually strictly swim conditioning. And we get our yards in, get the conditioning base down, which is very important for water polo. And from there, in the afternoon, there's a little bit of conditioning, but it's more polo oriented. There's a little more treading, a little more leg work, maybe some core work with dry lands. And then outside of that, it's game situations, it's ball handling, it's tactical stuff. It's working together as a group and just working hard. Well, my number one goal remains always that we just get better with each practice, with each game. We just look to get better, we look to improve, and that really is the most important thing to me. Just because if we do that, then the winning will usually take care of itself. And we certainly have a talented group this year. Some of our immediate goals, team goals, are going to be things like winning all of our district games, because that sets up the postseason run. From there, it's more, we start focusing on the postseason, things like winning districts, which will set up regionals, winning regionals to set up states, and then at states, our number one goal is to compete for a state title. So we have our first district game the week after spring break on April 16th against East Lansing, which is always a big game, because again, that starts our postseason run. Right now, we're just completing the initial part of our season. It's kind of divided up into 3 different pieces. This first part is kind of the intro. It's kind of figure out what we have, what we're doing. We've had some pretty good competition at the Saline tournament. We've played Saline a couple of times, Huron, Pioneer, Dexter, Groves, Grand Blanc. So it's all been really interesting to watch how the kids have gelled early on. We've gotten off to a great start. 8 games, 8 wins. Can't ever complain about that. But the important thing is that we're looking for improvement. Because the idea is that everybody's going to be improving this year. We need to make sure that we're improving too. And we're seeing that especially on the defensive side of the ball. We started off a little shaky, but we've corrected some things, and it's really good to see. Our 6-on-5's gotten a little better, which is also good to see. So the next step that we need to take is just to continue to grow as a team as we look to move on towards the second part of our season, which will be our district season and some difficult out-of-state tournaments.